Today I have a very interesting piece here. This is an action demo, which I'm sure that you have seen something very similar to this before. If you go into a piano store on some shelf somewhere, you'll probably see an action demo that displays an action that would come from some brand of piano and shows you what is happening when you play a key. But this one is particularly special because this comes from Steinway's Teflon era. If there are a bunch of piano enthusiasts in a room, whether they're simply hobbyists or if they're professional techs or tuners, chances are someone's going to mention the Steinway Teflon era. And here is why the Steinway Teflon era actually happened. In the late 1800s, Steinway was in fact the leading innovator in the piano industry. Many of the features of a modern piano that we have today actually come from that time period. The thing I think of immediately is the overstrung bass strings. Steinway invented that, as well as many, many other things, including the accelerated action that Steinway uses today, that are still present in pianos today. So when Steinway came out with the Teflon action, they really weren't trying to make a cheaper action or to do it to save money. They were trying to be innovative once again and trying to come up with a superior action product that felt smoother and played better than anyone else's action. And I have to say, this action demo does play very well. However, unfortunately, there were issues with these Teflon bushings. They would eventually click, and in fact, some family members once went into a Steinway dealer during the Teflon era, sat down at a brand new piano and played it and heard clicking. And then they moved to another Steinway piano and played that and heard clicking too, and decided, while they didn't know what this clicking was from, it was from the Teflon bushings, they decided to buy a piano from a different manufacturer whose action did not click. So while the Teflon bushings did not work and it was an epic fail for Steinway, they did it for all of the right reasons. So now let's come on in and take a closer look as to what the Teflon bushings look like and what problems this particular action demo actually has, which is quite interesting. Here we are at a closer up look at the piano action, and here are all of the points where there are Teflon located in the piano. Here at this hinge for the hammer on the shank, you can see that there is a little white circle with the pin inside of it, and that little white circle is the Teflon bushing. In most pianos today, if you look at the bushing, you will see that it's red or perhaps another color, and that is because that it is actually felt. But Steinway decided to use Teflon here, and for experimental reasons. And down here as well, you can also see, right around here, there is another Teflon bushing, and perhaps down here where the spring attaches that may be Teflon or it may be normal plastic. I am not really sure. And over here where you probably can't see, there is another Teflon bushing. If you were on this other side, you could see. And then in fact, there's another one over here, right down here. Does that piece even pivot? I guess it does. And so that is another Teflon bushing right down there. And if you look up here with where the hammer is connected to this Teflon bushing, you'll notice that it in fact wobbles from side to side, which you can probably see there. And if you look up here where it meets with this little pole that allows the hammer to strike something, you can see that it is moving a considerable distance. And this isn't, I'm not pulling and tugging on it, I'm just gently moving it with my finger, and there is an obvious amount of slop in there. And that is because this pin is not seating very tightly with the Teflon, which is allowing it to flop around like that. It doesn't seem to affect how it plays normally, but if you play it lightly, you can see that the hammer really bobbles and wiggles around, and some of that may be coming from this looseness here. Even today, piano companies continue to innovate using computer robotics to make extremely precise pianos, and also they're trying out even more new action parts. Several companies today will use carbon fiber and composite plastics in their action, and these actions actually play very well, and so far do not seem to have many of the problems that the Teflon did. Whether these actions last as long as a traditional wood action lasts, we'll see in the future. But piano companies continue to innovate and come up with brand new technologies to use in pianos. And but what's interesting is Steinway has remained very traditional ever since this fail with the Teflon. The New York Steinways have used traditional wooden accelerated actions with the with the felt bushings, and Hamburg Steinway continues to use the traditional wooden Renner actions. I hope you enjoyed this video about this rare and unusual piece. It's particularly rare because Steinway's Teflon era only lasted for around 20 years, and I doubt that they made very many action models during this period, especially once they realized that the Teflon bushings were a mistake. So hopefully you enjoyed this video, and if you did, you can go ahead and give it a like. Go to my channel, check out some of my other content, and if you enjoy that too, you can think about subscribing. Goodbye.